Okay, good afternoon to everyone joining us. It's a real pleasure to bring you this webinar to your home screens. My name is Samrat. I am the country coordinator of EURAXESS in India, and we are organizing this webinar series, especially for those of you who are interested in applying in the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Postdoctoral Fellowship 2022 call. I think most of you already have seen our first webinar on the call on 3rd of June, where we outlined the basic modalities of the call and how to apply. We will also today have a short, brief overview again, a recap of the call for you. But foremost, we will have today concrete hosting offer opportunities for those of you who are interested to apply and looking for a host university in Europe. We have not only this webinar today, but we also have 2 more webinars coming up on the 23rd of June and 1st of July, where also different representatives of different countries will present their hosting offers. But we stay with our event today, which is, I think a unique opportunity for you to get firsthand information about hosting offer opportunities from European universities. We have Finland, Spain, and the Netherlands. We have representatives of those countries with us. And it gives me an immense pleasure actually to hand over the mic to my dear colleague at the EU delegation, Mr. Pierrick Filon-Achida, who is the head of the Research Innovation section at the EU delegation in India. And Pierrick, it's of course a very proud moment for us to present this opportunity to our Indian researchers, right? And I would like you to, give the opening remarks for this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samrat. It's a pleasure. I will just give a few introductory words, especially because this webinar is recorded, so maybe colleagues who are interested to come to Europe will listen to it. Today is especially interesting because we have colleagues from 3 European countries. In the next 2 sessions, you will also have it. So it's a proof that Marie Skłodowska-Curie action is really, really important for European education universities. I am in charge at the EU delegation of more than Marie Curie. In fact, I cover the science from Horizon Europe. I also cover Erasmus, which is another type of scholarship to come to Europe. But for me, I see it as a global effort to encourage cooperation between India and Europe. In fact, I was thinking that we could at some stage even exploit the database of Erasmus, it means of Indians who have been studying in masters and so in Europe, who might be later interested in postdoctoral fellowship because they already have been in Europe. So it could increase again the synergy. I also strongly believe that somebody who has been on a postdoctoral fellowship later in his or her career could be in a European project, in what we call the Horizon Europe Research Project. So for me, it's a global assessment that we have to do. I would like to say that the numbers are quite high with India. India is a very important partner for exchange in Marie Curie, in Erasmus. I also want to say that we work a lot with between India and Europe in several areas, like in climate change, in energy, water technologies. So I will be very interested to see also in which areas Marie Curie is active. Do we have more postdocs in specific areas? Do we have them on climate change? Do we have them on energy? So to start to look at also thematically where the students are going and what they do in terms of their careers afterwards. So that's why I welcome the institutes from Finland, Spain, and the Netherlands, because I believe that I will be in touch with you whenever you will have succeeded to welcome Indians, to link with you, with your respective embassies here in India. The embassies are extremely interested. So please let us know when you will have welcome Indians. Also, let us know if you already have Indians in your institutes, because it's a way to bring more synergy. Samrat, it was a few words I wanted to say. From my team, you have Dr. Vivek, who will give you more details. But once more, I really appreciate the time that our European colleagues are taking. I will also advise my colleagues from the embassies here, from especially Finland, Spain, and Netherlands are very active embassies here. So I will encourage them to watch your presentation once it will be recorded. So thank you very much. Back to you, Samrat.
Thank you so much, Pierrick, for your opening remarks and outlining and stressing the importance of the collaborations and the opportunities which lie not only with the Marie Curie Fellowship, but also which are there for further collaboration and research under Horizon Europe. Next, I would like to give the floor to Dr. Vivek Dham, who is the advisor at the Research Innovation section. And Dr. Vivek, you will give us, let's say, a recap of a short summary of the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship call, and also especially focusing on the eligibility for Indian nationals. Vivek, I hand over to you.
Thank you, Samrat. On behalf of EU delegation, European Commission, and EURAXESS, I welcome all of you to the first webinar on posting offers for Marie Curie scholarship program for Indians who are willing or inspired to do a postdoc in Europe. So in next 15 minutes, I'll try to give a brief recap how you can go about it. Just a minute. Okay, let me see why it is not moving. Okay, so it's moving. So let's first start with a very positive note. As already Pierrick had mentioned, the India is doing fantastically well in Marie Curie action. As of today, there are more than 2,000 Indian researchers, PhD, postdoc, are benefited from this particular program. Around 14,000 Indians PhD fellowships are given under the Marie Curie, 450 postdoctoral fellowships from year 2014, 2020. And I'm very happy to share again that last year, that is last year's call, again 82 Indian young researchers from India managed to crack the Marie Curie, and India again remains consistently on first rank in last 3 years. So that is a phenomenal achievement that also underlines the excellence, the quality of research which Indian researchers bring to this particular program. So this is very encouraging, slides, and I wanted to start with a very positive note. So if they can do it, you can do it. The success rate is 14% last year, and the cutoff for selection was 19%. Where the Indians were going in last few years, it was UK, Germany, France, Italy, but I will come to that part later on. So before I start the program, the Marie Curie European Fellowship Program in detail, I need to make you understand what exactly this program, where it fits to and where it belongs to, because most of the people, what we understand, they didn't get the architecture of the European Commissions, how it works and why it is important, because the Marie Curie program is a part of European research framework program called Horizon Europe 2021-2027. You need to understand the philosophy, the rationale behind this program, because that kind of ideas should be reflected into the program, into your proposal, and that makes the slight difference between the winning and losing proposal. I come to the Marie Curie program. This is the structure of program, and the Marie Curie is located in Pillar 1, Excellence of Science, under which ERC, Marie Curie, and research infrastructures are placed. I will not go into the other details because this is not the topic, but the Horizon do provide a substantial amount of funding for global challenges which the humanity and the entire world is facing, So the pillar 2 is dedicated for that. Pillar 3 is on innovation. But today's focus is Marie Sklodowska-Curie for postdoctoral fellowship. Within the Marie Curie program, you have 4 schemes, and our focus again, it is a postdoctoral fellowship. I will not go into the details of others. So what is this Marie Sklodowska-Curie MSCA postdoctoral fellowship meant for? Why it is so important? Why the commission is investing so much of money, and how it is different from other programs? Basically, it is for individual fellows to support excellence postdoctoral research in all research fields. We want to equip new researchers, new generation of researchers with the new skills and competency, to identify the solutions which current and future challenges which the global humanity is going to face or is facing. So in short, we are looking for a new generation of researchers. They can not only think about research, but they can translate that research and idea to a market. And that is what the entire objective is about it. That is what the foster excellence, creative innovation and potential, intersectoral, international, and interdisciplinary is the baseline of this particular program, and it bridges the gap between academia and industry. So as I mentioned, it is open to all scientific field, but just for evaluation purpose and identification, these are categorized in 8 panels, and these are the areas of scientific fields. Just for Indian researchers, because in India, we never count social science and humanities and economics as a part of research. But in Europe, the social science and economics is a part of scientific field. If your friends, your colleagues who are from this field and they are not aware, please make them aware that this scholarship program is also open for those particular disciplines. So basically, the Marie postdoctoral fellowship is divided in 2 schemes, basically, European fellowship and global fellowship. I will not talk about the ERA fellowship right now. These are the 2 basic fellowship programs. And within, because we are Indians are our target for today, so we are just focusing only on European fellowship, because this particular scheme, this particular program allows any international student or researchers to do a research in Europe for a duration of 1 or 2 years. So your first keyword is Marie Sklodowska-Curie postdoctoral fellowship, European fellowship you have to apply. So forget about the global fellowship. So I will come to the ERA fellowship in my second or third slide. So what is the first question comes in the mind? What is the eligibility? Who are eligible for that? Please note that at the time of submission of application, that is on 14th of September 2022, you should have defended your PhD doctoral thesis. Okay, not submitted, defended. At least you should have a provisional degree certificate in hand. We will not answer again and again because we receive so many queries. You have to have a degree in hand at the time of submission of application. Then only you are eligible for the postdoctoral fellowship. The second criteria, that your research experience should not have exceed more than 8 years. From the degree award, you count 8 years. It should not exceed more than that. There are exceptions to calculate those 8 years. My next slide is about it. But you can count that from award to the 8 years, that is the maximum they will count. And that is the admissibility criteria for your proposal. Then the most important mobility rule, which is applicable for the Marie Curie, that you should not have resided or you should not have stayed in the host country where you are applying right now in last 3 years for more than 12 months. Okay. For example, I give you an example in Spain. If you have done Erasmus and you stayed more than 2 semesters in Spain, then you cannot go for Marie Curie. Or if you have done some already a postdoc in Spain, you cannot do a second postdoc in Spain. So you need to change the country, you need to change the institute, in different countries, and that is the baseline for this. The individual researchers can apply for this particular program just one time. Only one proposal you can submit. You cannot put too many proposals and too many channels of application open with a parallel member state. So again, this is the 8 years exceptional, how the 8 years are calculated. I will not go into the detail. I will share the slide. Maternity leave, paternity leave, long-term sickness, all these are covered. All exceptionals needs to be documented. You need to prove a document if you are exceeding the 8 years. I am giving a specific web links where all the details, how the 8-year experience has been calculated. Please refer to that. This is very important, that if you are looking for an eligibility of your tenure, then this is a new eligibility criteria, because we are receiving huge number of applications, around 9 to 10,000. So Commission had put certain condition that if you are submitted in 2021 and if you have scored less than 70% of your score, then you cannot apply again in 2022. There is also this resubmission. If you have more than 70, so suppose you have scored 80, so your resubmission, but you are not selected due to the fund, so your resubmission, again there is a 2 criteria: the proposal involving same individual with the same recruiting organizations or beneficiaries. So you need to understand this eligibility criteria very carefully before you go into the application. If you are already tried 2021 scholarship, if you are a fresher, just ignore this slide. It is not meant for you. So if you are applying for this particular scholarship, where do you go for a post institute? You have plenty of options. 27 European member states. I am listing. I will not say. These are one of the best research hubs in the world where you can conduct your postdoctoral research. Apart from 27, there are associated countries. I will not name, but there are very strong connection with India is Israel and Norway. We have very strong bilateral connection. So they are also associated countries, and there is an association process is going on between Morocco, Ukraine, and United Kingdom, that is UK. Okay. So as a commission, I will not go into the details, but what it means that you will apply for UK, because last year around 50% of scholarship the people went to UK, but now the situation is changing quite rapidly. So unless and until this, you need to discuss the guarantee of selection of your host institution in UK has to be underlined and checked 3 times. This is something a gray area. If you ask me, this is like an apply on your own risk, but I will not go further into this, because still the negotiations are on. It may turn positive, it may turn negative, but it is premature as an official to say you should apply or you should not apply. It is your choice. We give full freedom. UK as of today is a part of associated country of Horizon 2020. So again, I will go to a next option. This is an additional option, you can say. When you are applying in European fellowship, there is when you will apply for, when you will open an application form, you will get an option or in the application process whether you want to apply for ERA fellowship. Okay. So what happens that sometimes you score very good, even you are 90%, but somehow you couldn't pass the threshold. The last year's threshold selection was 91. Okay. So you scored 90, but you couldn't get through. So there is an additional opportunity if you select the ERA fellowship for those countries. I put this countries list on my right side. So you make sure if your application, your host country is from that, you will have a second chance of getting the fellowship. Okay. So this is an additional option within the European fellowship, but you need to click the option, otherwise you are not eligible. Who can host you? Any country in Europe, which I said 27 plus associated country. academic and non-academic sector. It could be private, public institutions, research institutions, universities, associated industries, SMEs, anyone who are able to support the research activity are eligible to host you as a postdoctoral candidate. Then very important and very fantastic option is given under this particular program is secondment and placement. Okay, so you need to understand what is the secondment and the placement, because the secondment during your postdoctoral research, it is encouraged for the researchers to go to different country, to a different sector, different destination to conduct his research. So it has a provision. It is highly encouraged that you should explore that option. Most likely the non-academic entities as a secondment is much higher, because we are trying and next generations of researcher. So that is what we want. The people should go from academics to industry, so they can translate their lab research to idea. And after the after your postdoc, there is again and 6 months additional placement offer is given by MSCA, and that is what you need to have. And this is apart from 12-24 months, you will have an additional single placement, and that is covered under the Marie Curie program. And for that, you need a letter of recommendation or commitment from the proposed non-academic institutions. I will not repeat this, but again, I will pinpoint that this particular scholarship also gives importance for gender and open science. There is a specific sections on that. I think in other section or other sessions, we had already discussed about it. If you are still doubt, we will clarify that. Who could be your supervisor? Any internationally recognized researchers in academic, in non-academic sector, who can independently had carried out his research and already part of international and national program is eligible to supervise you or guide you. So there is a definitions. The link is given in my slide. So normally you will find best professors and researchers in Europe who are very trained to handle or guide the international student. How to find a supervisor? Again, I will not go again into the details, because today there are 2-3 countries which will also give you an option. But EURAXESS, Samrat's is able to have a tool which can also help you. There is an also new tool which I just pointed out on Marie Curie website is MSCA matchmaking platform. That is also equally interesting, but there is a plenty of information available. But my own, because I did my postdoc in Europe, I will suggest first to go for your lab which you know, with whom you worked in PhD during PhD, or with whom your research has been dissembled and you exchange. So those are the preferred destination and preferred people who I should start with. Other than that, you will find plenty of options where the application to proceed, because already the application is open on 12th of May for submission. The last date is 14th of September. And on the horizon, again, very important word you should write down, this funder and tender portal, where all the calls are listed over here. I'm in my presentation, I'm giving the link, so you can directly go to the Marie Curie call. So when it comes to the evaluation, this is the question we keep on receiving. The evaluation is done on 3 parameters: excellence, impact, and implementation. The quality and the excellence is the only area which look in the first, that gives a 50% of weightage. So make sure your idea is unique. You are doing something which is very ambitious, which is not, I will not say a path breaking, but it is quite unique in that direction and innovative, that will have an additional value. Soundness of proposal and method should be also considered. Supervisors, experience, training, and not only about you learning from the team, but it also is a two-way exchange of knowledge, because the supervisor, the team is also expecting that you also contribute to the team you also contribute to the knowledge of that particular lab and the team. And that is also a very important aspect of this evaluation criteria. Impact, most of the people are missing this important aspect, impact. I urge you to read the evaluation criteria very carefully, because your impact also has a weightage of 30%. How you are going to communicate, how you are going to implement, how you are going to showcase your results and research to a community, to a society, that is very well judged during the evaluation. And the implementation, where the host institution work plans, this is standard, which also given a 20% this thing. As I already mentioned, we receive huge number of applications, 9 to 10,000 proposals on an average. 14% is the success rate. We do the evaluation by peer review process, international peer review process. Right, last panel we used 4,500 experts across the world to evaluate. So it is done very transparently, independently. You will receive, each and every candidate will receive evaluation summary in detail. Once you are selected, time to grant is 5 months to 5 plus 3, so 8 months. That is 3 months for evaluation, 3 or 5 months for the grant. This thing. If in case you are not selected, if you are below the threshold of selection, then the Marie Curie had started this year a seal of excellence. If those who had scored more than 85%, then there are certain number of funding agencies, countries in Europe, they may support your application at a national funding level. So the link is given, please go through that. But if that is the case, only if you are not selected. So again, the timeline is 14 September, 17 hours Brussels time. The application will be closed. Evaluation will be done within 3 months. So this is our tentative timelines. I'm not sure. This should not be considered an official. But within submission to this, it takes 8 months of time. How much is funding? Because that is the most crucial part. You will be generously funded 5,000 euros per month living allowance plus mobility allowance of 600. If you are married, 660 euros are additional allowance. In addition, that your lab also receive 1,000 euro plus management cost. On an average, you will receive something around 7,000 plus allowance of the scholarship for your per month. So make sure if somebody is investing in your scholarship, you have to have that much of quality, that much of excellence in it. So the hints, I will not go into the details because I run out of time now. But I again urge you to start early, find your host supervisor as early as possible. Start discussing the research proposal. It may take 3 to 4 or 5 months time, but you have less time right now. So I urge you to start as early as possible. These are the important documents which I urge you to read, because this is the difference, that 0.1% difference is made. What is the logic and rationale of this program? You need to reflect that into your proposal. Otherwise, you are only focusing on science, that may not work. So I urge you to look at the program rationale and philosophy. That may help you to do that. I will stop here. If you have any question, please write to us on EU India Research and Innovation Delegation website. Over to you, Samrat, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for giving a very concise and comprehensive overview about the call, and also the important documents which one should really read. And it takes a lot of preparation, as Vivek said, and you should really start now. And I guess you have already started, because you're joining this webinar to look for opportunities for hosting offers. And here we go straight into the subject matter. We go straight to the north of Europe. We go to Finland, and we invite Professor Jussi Sopanen from the LUT University of Technology, abbreviation is LUT, to present the opportunities which are there for Indian researchers who want to do a MSCA postdoctoral fellowship with the university. Thank you, Professor Jussi.
Thank you very much. So is the screen sharing now on? Yes. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to present our university and our hosting offer. So I'm Professor Jussi Sopanen, and I come from Lappeenranta-Lahti University of Technology, in short LUT University, and from my field is machine dynamics and mechanical engineering. Shortly about our university. So we are relatively small university, something like 5,000 or 6,000 students plus 1,000 staff members. We are focusing very much on environmental aspects, clean energy, water, air, and we have engineering and business schools in our university. So technology and business are our fields. We have very international university. Current rating is something like 80 different nationalities present in our campuses and in our community. And regarding Indian researchers, for example, I had last year 2 students getting their PhD with distinction. So very well achieved, and therefore I personally have very good impression on Indian researchers. So our campuses are located in Lappeenranta and Lahti, which are in southeast part of the Finland, and very nice nature around of our campuses. So as this photo shows, there are lots of outdoor activities and possibilities there, and clean water, clean air around. Well, about our strategy. So our strategy focuses on 4 key focus areas: air, water, energy, and business. And our hosting offer proposal is mostly focusing on this energy field, and how we implement this strategy. So and about our organization and internal structure. So we have 3 different schools: School of Business and Management, School of Energy Systems, where I come from, and then School of Engineering Science. In addition to those schools, we have research platforms which are multidisciplinary, cross-cutting research platform containing elements and researchers from all of these schools. And currently we have 5 of these research platforms, out of which 1 is INERCOM platform, integrated energy conversion machinery. I'm the director of this INERCOM platform, and our field is developing energy efficient solutions for energy conversion machinery, meaning basically electrical drives and turbo machinery and all kinds of the energy conversion machinery and processes. Something about the background of INERCOM and why it's very important for us is that first of all, we have long-term research on this subject, on high-speed electrical drives and turbo machinery that has several decades has been done in our university. It is also part of our strategic point energy. So it's mentioned there, and we have achieved very good scientific results, dissertation, publications, and that has been recognized, for example, in latest research and impact assessment in 2019, and also it can be recognized by Scopus Skyval analysis that this is one of our strongest research topic clusters. In addition to scientific results, we have had lots of industrial impact and industrial collaboration. There have been several spin-off companies founded based on our research, tens of patents, which some of them or many of them has been licensed to companies, and we have had lots of industrial collaboration. These figures show some of the prototypes which have been developed together with industrial companies, and as you can see, the size is industrial size, not just a laboratory scale machines. So these are one of the strengths of our university, that we can build industrial size machines having several hundred kilowatts power or megawatt power. Well, this Inercom platform has been operating a year and a half now, but of course it has a long history, historical research on this field. And some of the recent successes and of course related to our networks are shown here. This year we got or we are part of Academy of Finland Center of Excellence in High-Speed Electromechanical Energy Conversion Systems. And this is one of the highest scientific funding available in Finland, and we are part of the consortium there, and it provides us 8 years funding. Other recent success story is that we are coordinator of doctoral network on integrated high-speed power systems for industry and mobile applications. There are several European partners involved there, and in addition, each of the universities will have an industrial partner involved there. So these are recent success stories and showing some of the collaboration network what we have within this Inercom related actions. So the hosting offer is in our case specialized on engineering field and the fields of Inercom platform. We are very interested on applicants that have passion in the following high-speed technology related fields like turbo machinery and energy conversion processes, electrical machines and power electronics, rotor dynamics and high-speed machine manufacturing technologies. Just to mention few, there are of course other related fields there in this energy conversion machinery research. We have a couple of proposals of possible supervisors. For example, if the topic of application would be related to rotor dynamics, vibration dynamics, I could be the supervisor. And here you can see the contact details and link to research portal which shows our publications. Then my colleague, Professor Teemu Turunen-Saaresti, he is expert in fluid mechanics, turbo machinery, energy conversion processes. If the field is related to that, he could be one of the supervisors. And then if the subject is related to electrical engineering, so Professor Juha Pyrhönen, who is very famous on design of electrical machines, internationally very famous. So he could be one supervisor, or if it's related to control engineering or active magnetic bearing, then Professor Tuomo Lind could be supervisor. And just to mention that we here, for example, us four mentioned possible supervisor, we are constantly collaborating with each other, and we know each other very well. So if there are some subject which is between our key focus areas, that can be also possible because we do have experience on internal collaboration here. So we act as a one unit, one team. So if you are interested on these fields, so how to approach. So the timeline is quite tight now. But we could start by if you send CV and project idea by end of this month, and potential supervisors, okay, depending on which field you are interested or which field your proposal is related, you could directly contact me or my colleagues. If possible, please use this shown CV template there and those headings there. And at this first stage, short project idea is preferred. So if it can be about 2 pages, then it's quick to review and concise project idea. Well, then if we get interested candidates. So we can then provide support. First of all, this supervisor, one of the professors could be supervisor, and then additionally we can establish a supervisory board, which means in our case that we have around 50 to 60 experienced researchers in this field. So there can be assistant professor, postdocs, associate professors, or other senior scientists in the supervisory board. And that, of course, depends on the topic of the proposal and whose field it is mainly concerning. But of course, scientific excellence, career development, training activities, facility and laboratory supports, that can be given by supervisor and supervisory board. And also our research services will provide training, coaching, review service. That is and so-called grant writing services are provided by research services. So that was my short presentation. So thank you very much. Questions, I guess they will be saved in this question and answer Q&A session later on. But I'm happy to answer any questions, and if you are interested, please do not hesitate to contact me or my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Jussi, for a very concrete presentation on real possibilities to approach potential supervisors. Also, Professor Jussi has outlined the different strengths the university has in different fields and how they would guide you through the proposal writing process. So I think it's a very great opportunity. If this is something which is interesting you, like this university and the fields they are working in, I would definitely recommend you to contact Professor Jussi and his colleagues. We stay at Finland and we go to our next presenter, which is Tiina Lehtiniemi from Tampere University. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Please forgive me if not, but very happy to have you. And please tell us, what are the opportunities at Tampere University for Indian researchers under the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship? Thank you.
Thank you. You can hear me? And you can see my slides.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Samrat, for the presentation. Yes, you pronounced my name perfectly well. It's Tiina Lehtiniemi, indeed. And thank you for the organizers for actually inviting me here and giving me this opportunity to present our opportunities. So I want to start with that we're a little bit behind on the schedule. So I'm afraid I might not be able to stay for the QA session. So right as I start, I will say that see that I have my email address here. So priaward@tuni.fi. For any questions you may have after this presentation, do not hesitate to contact me. And I will actually come back to this and remind you about this afterwards, but I just wanted to say that right off the back. So how are the Marie-Exclusive Actions postdoctoral fellowships funding opportunities in Tampere University? I will be speaking from behalf of our research and innovation services at Tampere University. I'm there as a grant writer, and I'm currently responsible for all of our MSc actions. Before I get to this beautiful city of Tampere and our university campus area that you can see here, I will actually say a few words about Finland, as I assume that for most of you, you may not know much about it. So a couple of advertising points and fun facts about us. So you can actually see the source material for all this research done at the bottom. But we are doing relatively well when it comes to being a very happy and safe country and one of the least corrupted countries. We are also doing well on being an innovative country, and our data science and machine learning proficiency is good, as well as highest skills on the workforce and the quantity and quality of education. This actually also goes for advertising the previous talk from Finland. So you're welcome, Professor Sopanen. So and then in terms of Tampere, unfortunately, as I see there's some discussion in the chat about this, I cannot currently say that this is as correct as it would have been a year ago because of the political situation and Russia's invasion on Ukraine. But I'm going to be optimistic and hope that this situation will be returned fast, and you will actually have great access from India to Tampere. and to Finland overall. So one of the good points that we do have is that it's easy to travel within Finland and internationally from Finland to India and other countries. So take that into consideration. Also, it's very easy to travel between Tampere and our capital, Helsinki. It's just a couple of hours by a train, so all the good access routes are available for you. Tampere region, so not the capital, but we are the region that has the second largest population in Finland, with more than 9% of Finland's inhabitants living in our area. We are quite central in Finland, and you can see one of our nice skylines here. And from that, I'm going to move on to our university. Our motto is Human Potential Unlimited, because we do believe that the human potential is unlimited. As I said, we have second most of population, and also our university is the second largest university in Finland. Our community comprises of 21,000 students and 4,000 staff members. And to more key figures, apart from the 3 campuses that we have spread out through Tampere, we also have presence in other cities like my hometown of Pori and Seinäjoki. So we are overall a community of 25,000 people. Maybe an interesting point for you would be that of all of our employees, we have 15% international staff, and also a significant portion of international students within our university's crowd. Regarding the staff in more details and some more key figures I want to mention that we have 274 professors, and our gender balance is quite good, close to 50-50. And international staff, as I mentioned, we are at the 15%. Regarding the upcoming Marie's EURAXESS postdoctoral fellowship application, I want to mention our research and innovation services that I'm here representing. Again, with the contact email right there. Don't hesitate. We are supporting you throughout the proposal preparation. We are a team of around 10 in the pre-award point, and then as you get successfully funded, we also have a good support team to support you managing the funds that you get. We are highly experienced in obtaining MSCA related fundings, both doctoral networks and postdoctoral fellowships. Just last year, we had, out of 30 applicants, we got 5 new postdoctoral fellows, and the year before, I believe we had 7. So we are beating the national and international scores in that, and are quite experienced in handling these types of funds. We have, considering our size, we have a very good publishing output as well in of course, high-level publications, and also the degrees. We are quite active in awarding degrees. So considering our size, we're doing relatively well in all these aspects. Then, of course, you'll be interested in knowing what kind of research we support and what kind of research we host at Tampere University. So we have overall 7 faculties, going from information technology and communication sciences to management and business, education and culture, medicine and health technology, built environment, engineering and natural sciences, and social sciences. And I would like to now invite you to go and browse the research groups and potential supervisors and topics that you might be interested in from our webpage, because I don't have time to go through all of them in great detail. So please do go to the website and browse some potential interesting topics for you, and then contact us. I will now present some of the emerging areas from our fundamental research. So we have the future of well-being, exploring novel solutions for improving health and well-being, guided by in-depth understanding of changes in the societal landscape. Sustainable cities is huge with us, so we create globally applicable and ecologically, socially and economically sustainable solutions for urban planning. We have a lot of collaboration with the growing city of Tampere, which is kind of, we use it as our living lab, so great opportunities there. Here we have Professor Juho Hamari putting on some kind of equipment for gamification and augmented reality, a very successful professor in obtaining MSCA fellows. So if you're interested in gamification, augmented reality, we have a lot of emphasis there, not only his group, but others as well. Then we have revolution of light and image. So developing technologies based on the manipulation of light and optical phenomena to reshape future societies. Overall, spanning a bit more to our research excellence, I want to mention some key points. So we do coordinate 3 centers of excellence. Those would be the history of experiences, body-on-chip research, and then already previously mentioned the gamification part, so game culture studies. We are also a part of some more research centers of excellence, such as aging and care, modeling and imaging, and tumor genetics research. A few more points still on our research key points. Is that we have been awarded some flagships. So that would be on photonics research and innovation, one of the 6 hubs of expertise that were selected by Academy of Finland. And we are also part of 2 other flagships, so the Atmosphere and Climate Competence Center and Forest Human Machine Interplay. So here I've just been naming some of the key points and key research areas that we have represented at University of Tampere. Now, if any of these rang a bell for you, please do go onto the website and find potential research groups and supervisors that would be of interest for you. Then, before I go on to how to actually move forward, I just want to mention one more thing. I was actually consulting some former colleagues of mine from the research area that are Indian, and then also my dear friends that are Indian, asking like kind of what should I really be like, what should I be saying to convince you that this is a good opportunity in terms of like the location. And they said I should definitely mention our Hidden Gems project, which is that we well, the way my friend said is that I should emphasize that we are not America. I don't know if that's really correct to say that, but they said that please emphasize that when you come, when you get the visa and you come to Finland with your spouse, whether they are male or female, your wife or husband, we actually have a program that supports them finding their own path in Finland. So we launched this Hidden Gems project in 2018, and that is meant to support the dual career spouses. So we offer them, actually in my next slide, I think I have them. So we offer them networking, mentoring, and professional development. Here's one of our groups of Hidden Gems spouses. So they will also be integrated into our society, meeting new people, improving their language skills, and learning about Tampere and Finland overall. So a lot of opportunities. So that's something to kind of advertise this at home as well. So we do take care of you as a family all together. I think I also had some other final notes from my friends. So I guess the main point is also to say that we do have a lot of Indians working here in Finland, in Tampere, in research as an active community. I mean, we even have some annual events that they will organize and celebrate, like Diwali and so on. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I think you know what I mean. So for that point, you will be covered. Oh, and they said definitely to mention that it's all a lot of air, a lot of space, a lot of nature. If you hate that, then it's probably not the choice for you. But if that's something you're interested in, then do consider us. And now, after this talk, you're interested in applying for MSCA PF project in Tampere University, again, please go through our website a little bit, take a look at what there is, and contact us at preaward@uni.fi. We can also help you with the matchmaking, but of course it would be perfect if you already found something that is of interest for you. Main point regarding the timeline, I do have to say, is that in Finland, everybody, or almost everybody, is on holiday in July. So we're a little bit late on that. So if you are interested, go through the website today, contact me tomorrow. So there. But we will be supporting you. We have a masterclass and a lot of support throughout the proposal preparation and also when you get the grant. So you will be in good hands. Do not hesitate to contact me. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. And you heard what Tina said. Don't waste any time. If you think Tampere University is your perfect fit, you have the right contact with Tina and her team and the researchers there, and you see that there's even this wonderful program for Hidden Gems. If you want to bring your spouses along, there's a lot of opportunity. I think it's a great presentation, and I'm totally convinced. I would go and apply for Tampere for sure. But we are not at the end of our journey on hosting offer opportunities. From the north, we go down to the south of Europe. We come to Spain. where a dear colleague Xavier Ecout is waiting already to present you the opportunities what Spain has to offer. Xavier is the MSc National Contact Point in Spain, and he's also the National Coordinator for EURAXESS. So Xavier, thank you again for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Okay, can you please confirm that everything is fine? Although we did the test, you know that always live, things become complicated. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So Spain, like in the case of Finland, we're going to be 2 participants, and I would dare to say that probably my part of the presentation is not the most interesting part. So I'm going to try to be agile and definitely not go beyond the 10 minutes that I have, because what I want to introduce to you here are a bit of a flavor of what our national research development and innovation system looks like. Also highlight how are we doing in terms of particularly of Marie Curie postdoctoral, well, before individual fellowships, not postdoctoral fellowships in the current Horizon Europe program. Provide you some information also on how we support the applicants and where you can find the support measures. And also, of course, the most important part, which is where you can actually find opportunities to prepare a postdoc, a PF proposal. So in terms of the Spanish R&D&I system, as you can see, since the beginning of 2000, in Spain, we have been doing quite a strong effort to try to increase our investment in research development and innovation, with around almost 50% of this investment coming from the private sector, and around 40 or so from the public administration, and a 10% more from higher education institutions, from universities. Well, we suffered a bit during the economical crisis, but we're slowly going back into our path, and we're being quite ambitious in that sense. And I would like to highlight that we're actually in the final steps of updating our science law, which will have some very significant impact in terms of doing research in Spain, in terms of providing more stability to careers. There will also be by law let's say a guarantee of an investment from the side of the public sector. And there are quite a number of measures to facilitate people coming and going out of Spain. The next thing that I would like to mention is that we do have quite a large network in terms of places where you can do research. I mean, we have 5 public research organisms, which are, let's say, have a national level management at the site of regional governments, where they also have competencies in terms of R&D&I activities. There are, I mean, as you can see there, I didn't put a number because I was not able to do it. You have the database there. I've left the database where you can find the information live of all the centers that are available and all the topics, the areas of knowledge that they cover. And I mean, it's more than 150, and I wasn't able to count all of them. 88 universities. I mean, we have health and research institutes. We also have quite a number of what we call singular scientific and technical infrastructures to do research activities, technological centers, and science and technology parks. And I would also like to highlight that some of these, of the other categories, are included in what it's called the SOMA Alliance, the SOM Excellence Alliance, which is also a funding program for research centers of excellence and units of excellence due to their high international profile, their product, I mean, their performance and so on, but also the level of internationalization. So you might be particularly interested in looking at those which are awarded with this excellent badge. And now I go into Marie Sklodowska actions, and I will start by how we did in the previous funding program in Horizon 2020, because it's been for quite some time that Spain is quite successful in terms of applying and obtaining MSCA actions. And particularly in the ones that we are addressing here, as I said, this is Horizon 2020, so it's what now are postdoctoral fellowships. At that time, they were called individual fellowships. Well, after the 7 years of Horizon 2020, Spain was the second country in terms of the amount of individual fellowships actions that were granted. And how does this look in terms of area of expertise, well, you can see there the number of over 1,000, almost 1,100 projects all together in Horizon 2020, with life sciences and particularly being, let's say, our top performance area. But as you can see there, I mean, also very, very, very nice figures in terms of medical and health sciences, and environmental and geosciences. And also social sciences and humanities, as it was highlighted at the beginning of this event. And in terms of participation, you can see there that when it comes to receiving researchers, I mean, let's say from the perspective of the Spanish institutions participating, acting as hosting organizations in the individual fellowships, we have used, I mean, Marie Curie actions have been a key instrument to for Spanish researchers to come back to Spain after having had after doing research in some other countries. And also you can see, well, you will be able to see it once you get the slides, because I'm aware that the figures are not so good, but that we got 33 Indian researchers coming to Spain to participate. We hope that through these kinds of activities, and we're particularly thankful for the organizers for allowing us to come here and tell the story, that these figures will increase. But also the other way around, because when we look from the side of the researchers themselves, you can see that once again, I mean, mimicking what you see in the other graph, many Spanish researchers actually used the Marie Sklodowska reactions to return back to the country after an international research experience. But then there was also a preference in terms of going to the UK. And in this particular case, we do not have so many examples of Spanish researchers going to Indian institutions, but that's definitely something that we would like to see increasing in the following years. And what about Horizon Europe? Well, so far there's only been one call for postdoctoral fellowships. We still have remained quite high in terms of performance, both in proposal submissions, but also in the number of granted projects. In terms of the European fellowships, we are more or less in the success rate that was mentioned also in the first part of this event and by Professor Dam. But we are particularly successful as a country in global fellowships. In terms of areas, I'm going to go a bit quick over these figures, because you will be able to see them afterwards later once you have the slides, which I'm more than happy to share. In terms of the areas of knowledge, you see that we have quite a homogeneous distribution in terms of successful applications in chemistry, in engineering, in life sciences, of course, and in environmental and geosciences. And this basically is the same situation in the case of the global fellowships. In terms of institutions, because as I said, that we have a very wide network of institutions in which you would be able to implement your postdoctoral fellowship. The first one, the more successful organization, is the Spanish Research Council, but I will also highlight that this is also the largest research performing organization in Spain, because although you see it there as a single organization, there are actually more than 120 centers from all areas of knowledge behind that name. But the second one, and this I would like to highlight, because it's a reason to pay particular attention to my colleague Cristina in the presentation afterwards. You can see there the University of Granada, who is extremely successful in obtaining MSCA postdoctoral fellowships. So when it comes to support, the first contact that you can have definitely to post your queries are the national contact points. And in this particular case, now in Horizon Europe, we are quite lucky to be a large group, although except my colleague Cristina in this slide, the rest of us are part-time NCPs, and some of them, like myself, are actually newcomers and learning and still within our learning curve. But you can see there that we are 4 people, which all of us can answer to your questions using this email contact that you see there. And actually, we bring together 3 different institutions with 3 different, let's say, additional expertise behind. And what kind of things that we do? As I said, we definitely reply to individual queries. We do a lot of online sessions. I will provide you an example afterwards. And we do proposal reviews, but particularly from the side of doctoral network, staff exchange, and co-fund. As I said, this is an example of the current call that that is currently open, the amount of activities that we do online in order to support both Spanish institutions, but also any researcher interested in actually applying to come to be hosted by a Spanish institution. We do a lot of, especially online webinars, to provide support in the preparation of the proposals. But I wanted to highlight that particularly from the side of the postdoctoral fellowships, obviously we are talking that the first step is looking for a supervisor, but one thing that we wanted, that one key message that I want to give to you is that, of course, that's the first step, but afterwards, as you are going to be hosted by an organization as part of your research activity, it's very important that you find also the contacts of what we call the EU or international project offices. And because they are key persons to actually help you in putting together a solid, strong postdoctoral fellowship proposal. So where can you find now, which would be the most interesting part? It was already mentioned also by Professor Dam at the beginning and also by Samrat, that you can use the EURAXESS portal, particularly the hosting offers. And here I want to once again highlight that in the case of Spain, we have a very strong connection between EURAXESS and the Marie Curie NCPs, because they systematically promote Spanish or invite Spanish institutions to publish their hosting offers in this portal. And you can see there the numbers compared to other countries, the effect of this kind of emphasis. And for example, currently, or sorry, and along 2021 for the first call of postdoctoral fellowships, we had almost 450 expressions of interest offered by Spanish teams and Spanish institutions looking for researchers who could be interested in preparing a proposal. And once again, going back to the next speaker, from those 438, 95 of them were actually offered by the University of Granada. And finally, one resource, which is actually, you can find obviously a possibility of a Spanish host here, but it's actually open to all nationalities. And it was also mentioned by Dr. Dam at the beginning. We have this matchmaking platform, which has been launched by our colleague, by my NCP colleague, Jesus from Fundación Madrid Más D. But this is being done within the framework of a project of NCPs. So it's basically open to all nationalities. And this is a bit more than a hosting offer, because this is a platform which allows you to put out your expressions of interest, put there your profile, and the platform will suggest you possible supervisors or possible placements that you could put into your proposal. And it's a meeting place to have a conversations and prepare the calls. And that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Xavi, for giving a very comprehensive overview about Spain and the success story between Spain and the Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship. And you already mentioned it a few times. The University of Granada is actually one of the foremost institution which is very eager to host MSCA postdoctoral fellows. And it gives me great pleasure to invite our next speaker, which is Cristina Martinez from the University of Granada. Sorry, Cristina Martinez Saldivar. Cristina, we're happy to have you back. And please tell us about what opportunities are right now available and what services do you provide for potential candidates from India under the Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you again for inviting me, and let me share the screen first of all.
Cristina, you're muted. Just have to unmute your mic.
It's okay?
Yeah, perfect. Now we can see and hear you clearly. Thank you.
Well, hello everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you, the organizers, for the opportunity again this year they have given us to make the University of Granada in Spain, in the south of Spain, known. We are a very active university in attracting international talent. As Xavi has introduced me and you, I am Cristina Martinez Saldivar Moreno, the advisor for health, biological and health science area in the promotion unit at the International Project Office of the University of Granada. Today I'm going to talk about the UGR, the International Project Office, where I work, and how from there we manage and help the candidate to prepare proposals, including those with which we are concerned today, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie postdoctoral fellowship proposals. The university, I would like to explain a little, a short summary about the University of Granada. It was founded in 1531 and is one of the largest and most important universities in Spain, with over 55,000 undergraduate and postgraduate students and 5,000 members of staff. The UGR offers over 110 undergraduate degrees, 150 master's degrees, 14 of which are international double degrees, and 28 doctoral programs via its 124 departments in 30 centers. Accordingly, the UGR offers one of the most extensive and diverse range of higher education programs in Spain. The UGR has been awarded with the Human Resource Excellence in Research, which reflects the institution's commitment to continuously improving its human resource policies in line with the European Charter for Research and the Code of Conduct for the Recruitment of Researchers. The UGR is also internationally renowned for its excellence in diverse research field and ranked among the top Spanish universities in a variety of ranking criteria such as national R&D projects, fellowships, awardees, publication, and international funding. The UGR is one of the few Spanish universities listed in the Shanghai Top 500 ranking. The 2021 edition for this placed the UGR in the around 200 position in the world, and as the 2 to 4 highest ranked universities in Spanish. The UGR stand out in the specialties of library and information science, position 36, food science and technology, position 39, and hospitality and tourism management, position between 31 to 75. According to the latest edition of the prestigious ranking by specialties. A little lower in the ranking, the UGR also stands out in mathematics and mining and mineral engineering. Additionally, the UGR has 8 researchers who are at the top of the highly cited researchers list. Most of these related to the area of computer science. Internationally, the University of Granada is firmly committed to its participation in the calls of the framework program of the European Union. For the duration of the last framework program, Horizon 2020, the UGR obtained a total of 118 projects with a total funding around 30 million euros. And for the current framework program, Horizon Europe, the UGR has obtained 19 projects, some of which are in the process of being funded, with a total funding to date of 4.5 million euros. The International Research Project Office, OFPI using its Spanish acronym, depends on the Vice-Rectorate for Research and Transfer Knowledge and is closely linked to the rest of the Vice-Rectorates. We work also together with the International Audit Office, the Results Transfer Office, the International Welcome Center, very important for us because we have a lot of different people who came to the University of Granada from everywhere, and the International School for Postgraduate Studies. The OFPI, as I've just mentioned, reports to the Vice-Rectorate for Research and Knowledge Transfer, together with the National Funding Research Project Office and the Knowledge Transfer Office. It is divided into 2 units, the Promotion Unit and Advisory Unit, and the Management Unit. The OFP offers a variety of services such as advertising calls, grant to attend meetings during the process of creating and submitting a proposal, advice on planning and submitting international proposal, dissemination of information on the different calls for international projects, negotiation grants and agreements once proposals are accepted, financial management of international projects, financial audits, preparation of financial reports, mainly for the European Commission, managing international project personnel, providing administrative certificate for international project, and fundraising to promote UGR participation in international projects. Here you can see the members of our team. The promotion unit is subdivided into 3 areas: health, biology, and earth science. I am the technician for this area. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, that is my colleague, the technician is my colleague Maria Ross. And humanities, social, and legal science, that now is, we are looking at a new technician. Another fundamental part for our OFP is covered by the promotion activities with Lupe and Guadalupe and Helen Crichton, and of course the ethics and data protection issues. All of these areas have their own responsible person, which you can get in contact with. You can see here all the contact details. In the same way, the management unit is comprised of colleagues who manage Maria Sklodowska-Curie actions and ERC programs, projects in consortium, as well as the corresponding administrative tasks. Well, in the particular case of the postdoctoral fellowship, the first thing we do from the office is to hold an annual workshop to inform the UGR's researchers and future fellows about this kind of fellowship, and thus contact those interested in apply as supervisor and those in apply as fellows. This year, the workshop took place in February. After that, those who are interested in becoming a supervisor send us an expression of interest for each research line they offer, and we then upload the expression of interest to the EURAXESS website, as Xavi has just mentioned. Moreover, the postdoctoral candidates can find possible supervisor via our website, and following our internal rules could start working on preparing their proposal with the advice from the OFP via face-to-face and online meetings. Finally, the OFP also usually holds an annual writing workshop for all interested candidates to work with the University of Granada as host institution. In 22 in this call, the workshop took place recently, the 1st of June. So if you want to participate, if you want to know our affairs, please consult our website. The link is there in the bottom of the slide. You can access all our expression of interest by department. So we can find around 100 more or less. If I remember well, there are 96, I think. When you click on the one that interests you, the page redirects you to the EURAXESS website, where you can see all the details, a brief description of the institution, brief description of the center research group, project description, which you must work to present your proposal, the research area, and the contact information to which you must send your CV and a letter of recommendation if you want, for a correct evaluation of your candidature to be selected and can prepare the proposal with the UGR as a host institution. Once you have been selected by the UGR, you must send a letter of commitment signed by you and your supervisor to the email address of the promotion unit. I give you the details here. you will then be directed to the technician or specialist in charge of your area, who will help you to prepare the proposal and resolve all the doubts. As I previously mentioned, the OFP offers you support and advice for the preparation of your proposal in order to increase your chance of obtaining the postdoctoral fellowship. In this way, a schedule for the delivery of the drafts have been established. In case you want us to review the first draft of your proposal, you should respect the delivery date. This year, the deadline is the 1st of July in order for us to have time to review the project properly, because we have a huge number of proposals to revise, and the UGR is closed for holidays all during the month of August. In this slide, you can see the number of offers by areas at the University of Granada for 22 calls, with a total amount of 96. I would like to highlight it that the life science is the highest number of offers, but there is an important number also for social science and humanities. And there you can see that of all the funded projects where the most success has been achieved at the UG area has been in the Maria Sklodowska-Curie Action Scholarships, of course. This graph shows that over the last few years, there has been a growth trend in the number of proposals submitted, and also the number of financed projects has increased considerably. Specifically, in the 21 call, we obtained 30 funded projects, and we have another 4 in the reserve list. Consequently, our success rate this year has been 22%, which represents a percentage which is far above average. We have been the second Spanish institution, and the next university in the ranking achieved 5. So the difference is remarkable, and we are very, very happy with our results. And that's all. Please, of course, contact us if you have any doubts or question. And thank you very, very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Christina, for providing us a great overview about the University of Granada and its offers, and also to see the remarkable success rate of successful candidates. That's really great. So please, do your check, go to the university's website and find out if there's anything which would be suitable to you. And we move on. I'm sorry for the slight delay that our colleagues from the Netherlands had to wait a bit longer, but still they are with us. So let's go to our next presenter, which is Dr. Raoul Tan from the Erasmus University Medical Center in Rotterdam, right?
Yes. Thank you so much for introducing me. I see I'm still disabled. Yeah.
Now it should be working.
Yeah. Okay, Samrat, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to introduce both the Erasmus University Medical Center, as well as a bit of the Netherlands in life sciences and health. So the contents of my presentation about MSCA postdoctoral fellowships in the Netherlands is about life sciences and health. And I will start with a short introduction about the Dutch life sciences and health, and what I also tell to my own PhD students at the grad school, what they have to look for when they shift from a PhD to a postdoc. And also for this audience, what is important is what is the Dutch advantage if you go for a postdoc in the Netherlands. And then I go over to the Erasmus MC as about my own institute. So the Netherlands is based in the northwestern part of Europe, so within this white square. And we are a tiny country. We have just 18 million inhabitants. We had 360,000 research publications in life sciences and health, or LSH as I have abbreviated it, within the last 5 full years, so to 2017, 2021. And average quality was that we had a world impact of 1.83. We have 8 medical schools or 8 university medical centers. And yeah, that's a big contrast with India because yeah, you're a big country, 1.4 billion inhabitants, not just 18 million. And yeah, you have more than double the numbers of publications in the last 5 years in life sciences and health. But yeah, as India has very big differences in really top-notch institutes, but also lower institutes, the impact is a bit lower. However, yeah, of the 780,000 publications, 38 of those Indian publications were in collaboration with foreign partners, and 6,000 of those publications belonged to the world's 10% most cited publications, and 1,000 of these belonged to the world's 1% most cited publications. So these were the really best, so the 10% best and the 1% best of the world. Now, although the Netherlands is small, Netherlands and India do have a very good collaboration to start with. So the average impact of Dutch-Indian research publications resulting from a collaboration is 2.5 times the average of Indian-American articles. And when I talk about those 6,000 publications...
Dr. Roos,
Yes?
sorry for interrupting, but your slides are not moving. I think you have to put it in slide mode. They're not moving.
It is? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So maybe
Sorry.
I have to... Thank you for telling this to me. So maybe I have to share it again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this one?
Yeah, can you put it in slide mode, like the full screen?
Like this, and then continue like this.
No, that there is like an icon at the very bottom on the right. There is like a symbol of a screen.
Yeah, I use this one. So now I click. So you probably have the starting slide.
Yeah, we have the starting slide now. Yeah. Okay.
And you see the moving to the Google Maps.
No,
you
not
see the
yet.
map of Northwestern Europe.
No. We just see your. We see it on the left
slide.
We see the opening slide, and we see the other slides on the left column. So if you go to view, like you have the possibility to go full screen or slide view, presentation view. Now we see the next screen. Okay, the next slide.
The whole next slide.
Now we see we still
No.
you're still. Yeah, sorry for that.
Because if I do this, I should move, because now I have it in presentation mode.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see different squares popping up?
No, we still don't see it in presentation mode.
Okay, so maybe I have to shift. Yeah, I probably have to keep it like this. So on the left, you see probably the different slides, and then I go step by step.
Okay.
So yeah, okay. So what I was talking about was about the the collaborations, the research collaborations in life sciences and health of India and the Netherlands. And India has 6,000 publications that belong to the world's top 10 most cited publications in life science and health, which they publish together with their international partners. And 14% of those were together with Dutch partners. They also have 1,000 publications together with our international partners belonging to the world's 1% most cited publications, and 1 in 3 or nearly 1 in 3 of those involved a Dutch partner. So yeah, that is a bit about the collaborations between the Netherlands and India, which makes us a very interesting location to choose for. And also because your foreign stay is more than just your career. It's also nice to tell you that within 2 hours by car, by train, or by airplane, you can go to Brussels, Paris, Berlin, or London. So some other capitals of West European countries that you can visit to do some sightseeing. So what I tell to my own PhD students when they are going for a postdoc abroad, then I always that I tell them that I have to look for three things: scientific excellence, and also obtaining international experience. So if I start with the scientific excellence, doing a postdoctoral fellowship actually means that you're shifting from a PhD student to become an independent group leader in academic research. So in this case, it's also very essential to look for the quality of the research output of the institute of your choice. And you go abroad because you want to obtain international experience. You want to obtain international networks and knowledge. So what you have to look for is how well interconnected is the institute of your choice, and what is the quality of those international connections, and how does research funding work outside, in your case, outside India, and is the institute of your choice successful? Because if you go to the institute and later on in your career go back to India, you want to know you have to be at a successful institute with a big funding network, so you can continue your collaboration and you can fuel collaboration with other partners thanks to your former home institute. And then, of course, the fellowship, what does it deliver? Does it increase the chances on the market when returning home, or when you go for your next destination before you go back to India? And that's actually both in the scientific excellence and in the international experience and networks. So if I talk about those 2 points, the scientific excellence and the funding networks, then if you look for the scientific excellence in life sciences and health, then I took all the publications in clinical, preclinical, and health between 2017 and 2021. So on the left column here, in the left table, you see the names of the universities. In the middle column, you see the number of publications, but the right column shows the impact, so the quality of those publications. So for example, Erasmus MC had about 25,000 publications, but the impact, so the normalized citation impact, is 2.40. So what I have shown here is both the Erasmus MC and other med schools or universities, if the med school was not found separately. So all of those with the arrows are the Dutch universities or med schools, and the quality of their research publications in clinical, preclinical, and health sciences. And you can see that it's nicely fitting in between Harvard, Johns Hopkins at the top, and Brown University, which is another Ivy League university in America. So if we talk about scientific excellence, the Dutch universities do very well. The other thing that we do is the European funding network. I talked about funding, and funding is a very important issue. It had also been noted or mentioned by the previous speakers from Spain and Finland. And if you look at European funding network, the Horizon 2020 program, which had just been finished, then for the Horizon theme of health, demographic change, and well-being, which is where those med schools actually function or compete, then you see that 3 of the 8 schools are actually in the top 10, and 6 of the 8 are in the European top 25 of most successful European institutes. And because this was the previous program in which the British universities were also competing, if you would adjust for that and also for nationwide organizations like the INSERM, which is on this table, right table on number 1, then actually 6 of the 8 Dutch universities or med schools are in top 10. So a good ERC funding, or good EC funding from the European Commission, what can you do with that? So I have actually 3 different examples. So for example, on a country level, these are from the Erasmus MC, in which I was involved myself as an advisor. So this is country-based. We started with Colombia in 2017, and you see between 2018 and 2020, actually next year, what we did, we jump-started those collaborations with our new partners. So the first Colombian partner, the second, the third, we started those with different types of grants from Europe, and of course followed by our local grants later on. But we use that as a tool. And also, if you look at the second block here, so with an individual organization, in this case is the Pontificia Universidad de Chile in Chile, also in South America, we started in 2016 with our partnership. And then you can also see that also in this case, we use different kinds of European funding to jumpstart our collaborations. And that also happened at an individual level. So here we had an Indian postdoc who returned 1 year actually before COVID started. So he returned in 2019 to Mahe in Manipal. So in 2020, in the, actually the last of the previous framework, he got with us an Erasmus Plus KA 107 mobility grant. We also established and founded a joint Erasmus MC Mahe Institute at Manipal. Then we had, of course, 2 years of lockdown during which nothing could happen. But in September, we will actually send, we start with our minor global health, sending our undergrads to India and having some Indian students following our online classes. And actually within a few weeks time, I say current, but it's planned over 2 weeks, we will start on discussion on having them joining our Marie Curie staff exchange proposal, for which the deadline is actually in March next year, but to have them as an associated partner. So those are the things you could do when you are choose for an institute that is well connected in European funding. So if we talk about the Erasmus MC, our European successes in Horizon 2020, we had over 220 Horizon 2020 projects with partners from 56 countries. And to give you a bit of an overview, we have about 15,000 employees. We are actually a merger or a combination of the Med School of Erasmus University Rotterdam and 3 university hospitals. And we think the human touch is very important. So if you look for our supervision rates, because we are a medical school, we have medical students, we have 5 staff versus 6 students as a ratio. And for the residency training, we have 3 medical specialists who have MD, PhD, and 1,000 residents. So that's also 3-to-4 ratio. And PhD students, each single PhD student has at least 2 supervisors. You probably want to know where we are in the world. So for the life sciences or the preclinical studies, I use the Nature Index ranking. We are ranked in the world as number 6 to 48 for different biomedical or preclinical subjects. And I use the US News ranking for our medical specializations, for which we are ranked world number 8 to world number 42. So once you are part of Erasmus MC, because when you become postdoctoral fellow, you are part of the Erasmus MC staff, you will also benefit from our support. So as you noticed from my previous slides, grants are very important. So we have a research development office, which is an office devoted for grants. So we have 17 full-time advisors, only for the Erasmus MC, so only for the medical school. And 12 of those have also a PhD in either clinical or preclinical sciences. So I give you here an overview of the different types of trainings that we give. And training is not just about a research grant, but it is about a specific research grant. So about an ERC, European Research Council, training just for the starting grants, or just for the consolidated grants, or just for Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowships, and then a few months later for the Marie Curie doctoral networks or the staff exchange. So that is the way we do. And importantly, as what you see on the right square, the working mode is that the scientist, so that could be you with your, the scientist from your host lab, submit a proposal, and then within 2 times 24 hours time, the proposal has been reviewed by 2 different grant advisors. And then you and the PI from your host lab or host department can edit, and then you resubmit again to the research development office. And then again, after 2 times 24-hour cycle, you have the new input for editing again, and this will repeat until you think that it's ready for submission. I must say, because the deadline is in September and we have the summer holidays in between, that 2 times 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer, depending on when you will submit it. But this is the way we work. And actually the team for, or the sector for personal grants is the most important for you, because they help you with your Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship application. But you can even build your scientific career just with personal grants. So they are the first team within the research development office to keep in touch. Well, my last slide is to how to apply for a Marie Curie fellowship. So the first thing you have to do is to select the scientist or the host department of your choice. So you're already senior PhD students, or you have already a PhD, so you know probably already where you want to go to. But if you don't know, well, I have here the website link, and I share it later in the chat. And also here is the QR code that refers directly to this link, and it gives profiles of 187 research groups, all in preclinical, clinical and health sciences at the Erasmus MC. So there you can have a look. And once you have selected your scientist or host department, you have to write the application letter. But in that application letter, you have also to mention that your intention is to come with a Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship. And you have to mention that he or she should contact the Research Development Office, because then the RDO services are available for you, because in fact, they're only available to staff. So the Erasmus MC staff has to inform us that you will be or will become our future colleague, and that you will go for the fellowship at his or her department. So then we start helping you, and then you get all the grant support that we have available. Last note that I want to say is that also secondments were mentioned in the introduction. Well, here at the Erasmus MC, we say that we do the secondment only within the EU member states, so not in the United Kingdom and not in the US. So I gave you how you have to look and what you have to mention, but if you have any additional questions, I will put it later in the chat box as well. It's t.10@erasmusmc.nl. Thank you so much, and yeah, sorry that I had some problems with the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raoul, and no worries for the presentation. You gave such an excellent talk and a very clear, structured guidance on how students, researchers can contact you and how they can get support and what is in for them if they want to apply with the Erasmus Medical Center for the Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship. So now we go to our last but not least speaker. I'm very sorry, Marie, for the delay, but you can see there's so much interesting information from all our countries and host institutions. So our last speaker today is Marie Kumarlova. She is from the Delft Technical University in the Netherlands, and she will tell you now, what TU Delft has to offer when it comes to the Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship call 2022. Thank you, Marie. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me and see my screen?
Yeah, perfect. We can do it.
Thank you for having me. I'll try to go a bit quick because we're running a bit over, but I'm going to go briefly over about the Delft University of Technology, TU Delft, about our current collaborations with India, and about some of the opportunities linked to the grant we're discussing today. So for an overview, TU Delft is the oldest and largest technical university in the Netherlands. Our mission is really to bring impact for a better society. So we structure this around 5 themes. So almost all of the research within our university can fall under health and care, energy transition, climate action, AI and digital technology, and urbanization and mobility. And I went a bit too quick there. We have 8 faculties, so I won't go into details here. It's the general disciplines that you would think of in a polytechnical university. Perhaps some additional ones you might not automatically think of are industrial design, architecture, and also we have a faculty that looks at policy and management around technology. And we have a wide range of labs. A lot of these slides are for you to look at later, but for example, we have QTech with quantum computing, we have water labs, we have wind tunnel, there are various others. If you look at our website, you'll find a lot of this information. And just because this is an international event, I share some of the local, regional, national, and international partners that we work with. So these are a lot of the private partners that we work with. Of course, there are a lot of international university or research collaborations as well, which now I'll go into some of those specific ones with India. So as you can see here, as I told you at the beginning, our mission is impact for a better society. So our global engagement framework is also looking at that, how to tackle societal solutions or societal problems and bring solutions, especially for the Sustainable Development Goals. Going back to Raoul's presentation, we do have a great partnership with them under the Leiden Delft Erasmus framework, LDE. We also work with a lot of other local partners, regional partners, international partners. And this global engagement framework under which our India collaborations fall has 3 focus countries outside of Europe, so Brazil, India, and China. It's also good to highlight that we work with low and middle income countries via the Delft Global Initiative. And with India itself, so there are lots of collaborations going on for many years. I would say that the formal collaboration started around 2011 when we first started collaborating on an institutional level with institutions like the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore or the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi. And you'll see in the next slide specific areas in which we work with universities in India with partners. But the pictures here show, for example, collaborations in the area of space, in the area of water and sanitation. And you see here our king and queen, they opened one of these research facilities in Delhi a few years back, and also in the areas of health. So I didn't introduce myself at the beginning of the presentation. My name is Marie. I work on global engagement for TU Delft, and I'm a policy advisor. We also have for India an academic representative. So this TU Delft India ambassador is Professor Yeni Dankelman. She personally works in the area of health. You'll see one of her slides a bit later, but she's also spearheading these initiatives around India. And I mentioned specific themes, so I show you the graphic for information purposes, but of course, people working in other areas are also happy to collaborate with India and also happy to receive postdocs. But some of the highlight areas where we've noticed a lot of activity are space, climate, health, water, and energy. And just to go back to partners, so candidates are welcome from all institutes, and TU Delft researchers are also very welcome to work with all institutes in India. It's very much a bottom-up process, but to bring a bit of structure from top down and noting that there are large-scale collaborations across at least 3 of our 8 faculties. Earlier this year, we signed agreements with 2 institutes in India to have a strategic partnership. Those are the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore and the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi. And we opened a small seed call this year. So it's closed for this year, but for researchers interested, next year it will open again. And then I'll get on to the specific opportunities for this call. So one of my colleagues is in the room, so I don't know if we'll have time for the Q&A, but perhaps you could write her in the chat. Ms. Daphne, she would be able to answer some of the questions. She's the one that would be answering this email, for example, researchfunding@tudelft.nl. And before I go over this slide, it's very good to emphasize that the support here is really for someone who already has a confirmed TU Delft supervisor. So there's no central matchmaking process. And as I heard many of the other speakers, I would highly recommend that if you're interested, you contact directly the supervisor in your domain or the project on which you're interested in working on. And once you start that collaboration, it's clear you can work together, then this support process centrally is available to you. So some of the support mechanisms that are available, for example, are online info sessions, online Q&A sessions. You can, of course, send email to researchfunding@tudelft.nl. There's inputs on the standard parts of the proposal that are needed that are more about TU Delft centrally, not about your specific supervisor or project. If you send your proposal within 2 to 8 weeks prior to the deadline, and indeed I noticed in some of the other presentations, the summer holiday was mentioned, so that's also a thing here in the Netherlands in July and especially August. But generally speaking, if you send early enough your proposal, you can get some feedback. And there are some online learning platforms as well. So my colleague Daphne is in the chat. If you'd like to speak with her, please use these services once you have a confirmed TU Delft supervisor. And then I have several researchers that have sent me slides about areas where they're specifically accepting candidates. Once again, I highlight that there are other areas open at TU Delft, other researchers I'm sure that are interested but didn't send me a slide. So please do feel free to contact these researchers. And for all the upcoming slides, contact details have been provided. So you're welcome to send me or Daphne an email if you have a very specific question, but I'd recommend mostly contacting these supervisors directly. So for example, on housing, design, innovation, and post-independence India, Dr. Nelson Mota and his colleagues are looking for candidates interested in working on affordable housing, architecture, or urbanism. From the same faculty, the Faculty of Architecture, but a different group, Dr. Tanea Bakken is looking for individuals interested in working on sustainable urban landscape design, urban water, urbanism, and in general on water-sensitive environments. And another research project somewhat related, but from a different faculty, the Faculty of Technology, Policy and Management, Dr. Travik Verma is looking for individuals interested in a variety of topics that fall under the Center for Urban Science and Policy. So for example, spatial data science, complex network analysis, machine learning, and digital geography. Changing topics a bit from our Faculty of Electrical Engineering, Computer Science and Mathematics, Dr. Gautam Ramchandra Muli is looking for individuals working on high power electronics, EV charger design, battery modeling, and solar powered EV charging, for example. And from the same faculty, Dr. Rangarao Venkatesha Prasad is looking for individuals interested in working on extreme IoT, space systems, and tactile internet, among other topics. To change gears slightly again, Dr. Murali Gatkasar is looking for individuals working on microfluidics, microfabrication, 3D printing, single cell biophysics, and etc. And he's based in our 3ME faculty. Also from 3ME faculty, but quite a different topic, Dr. Yeni Dankelman. So as I mentioned, the TU Delft University Ambassador India is looking for people working on minimally invasive surgery. So things like medical instruments and affordable modular and reusable designs. Also from the same faculty, Dr. Sid Kumar is looking for someone working on designer materials with tailored exotic properties, materials for extreme environments, or unsupervised learning for constitutive modeling. And finally, also looking at materials and structures, but from a different faculty, our Faculty of Aerospace Engineering, Professor Chiara Bisagni is looking for someone that wants to work on composites, buckling, damage, fatigue, etc. And I didn't go over in the presentation, but there are really lots of areas of success of the TU Delft. You can look us up in the rankings. We're quite high ranked in very many topics. And I think that's all that I have to share. I hope that it was a good information for you all. And thank you for having me today.
Marie, thank you for very concise presentation, but also plenty of opportunities, interest from supervisors who are looking for candidates. So please, we will share all the slides of the presenters, and we will also make the recording again available so you have enough time to go through your preferred host institution or country. I see we are quite late in our schedule, but I think it was totally worth it. I would ask all the presenters who are still with us just to put on your camera, so I bring you one more time in. We have actually tried to answer as much as questions possible during the session. Dr. Vivek has been very helpful in that, but we also encourage you, and all the presenters have said you can contact them if you have some specific questions for them. But I would just like to end this wonderful session, I would say, and a very exciting one, with a question to all of you. Can you give a final advice from your side to potential candidates? Like, what would be your, in a nutshell, your advice to them right now?
I would say start as soon as possible and contact supervisors as soon as possible.
Thank you,
From
Marie.
my side, obviously, I totally agree with what Marie said. But I would also highlight the role of the European and international project offices at the institution. So speak with your supervisor, but also contact let's say the support offices and structures that you have there, also for when traveling and so on.
Thank you, Xavi. Raul, what would you say?
Yeah, I can only agree with it. I will be back, for the whole month of August. But yeah, we have planned with the 3 advisors that are involved in the Marie Curie personal of postdoctoral fellowships. But we also have a few other grants with a deadline in early mid-September. So yeah, just contact us as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's the key, as soon as possible. And Christina, please, any final advice?
Yes. In the case of the University of Granada, I agree also with Maria and with Xavi. So contact us as soon as possible and take into account that the University of Granada closed in August. We are at your disposal for everything you need. And it's very important that the supervisor will be a specific representation and help you as much as possible to prepare your proposal. Not only you. Take into account the supervisor and take into account the helping that the offices can give you.
Thank you, Christina. And Vivek, wouldn't you agree that these are really excellent services, support services European universities have for candidates under the Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship, right?
I just request all the potential candidates to read the Marie Curie guideline application, because this is a very helpful document. we ourselves refer to that because this is what will make your life as well as the host institution's life much easy. So I can't add more than what the panelists said. And thank you very much for all the panelists for accepting our request.
Yes, I totally agree with Dr. Vivek. And once again, thank you so much to our speakers for joining. Sorry that we kept you longer, maybe away from your well-deserved lunch break. Even Christina sacrificed her holiday for us. Thank you so much, and dear potential candidates, attendees, now go to the websites, find, the right supervisor, start your work if you have not decided yet. And remember, we will have 2 more sessions for you coming up in the coming weeks, and stay tuned on that. Thanks again to all of you for joining. Have a wonderful day ahead of you. Thank you. Bye.